Good morning. These are your BYU-Idaho radio morning headlines for Monday, April 21st, 2023. Thanks for listening. I'm Jill Clary. Federal scientists at 22 U.S. sites maintain the nation's agricultural seed stores, collected since 1898. But the Trump administration's Dodge agency has fired them. Wyoming News Service reports the move creates uncertainty for hundreds of crop species that maintain and protect the country's food system. The U.S. National Plant Germplasm System safeguards the genetic diversity of agriculturally important plants. Professor Iago Hale at the University of New Hampshire says the potential loss of these seed bunkers should alarm every American.
If you subsist totally on chicken nuggets and KFC, that's fine. Understand that that comes back to plants grown in the field. The breading on your fried chicken, the French fries that you're eating, these are all products of crops. And this is how it works.
A court order has temporarily reinstated some of the 300 NPGS scientists, but it's unclear when their work will resume, putting 600,000 genetic lines of some 200 crop species in jeopardy. The Trump administration has said it is working to downsize federal spending. Hale says the NPGS is central to the nation's preparedness because the food system is only as safe as its ability to respond to the next plant disease. Unless dormant seeds are continually cared for and periodically replanted, Hale notes the lines will die along with their evolutionary history. Hale says potatoes, the fourth largest crop, require even more care than wheat or corn.
They're not maintained as seed, they're maintained as potatoes. It's a clonally propagated crop, and there is no long-term storage for those things. So the nation's entire potato collection has to be grown out every year, has to be regenerated every year without fail, or it will die. And the potato season has been disrupted.
Hale says apples also must be maintained as living plants in the open field, and scientists follow strict requirements to sustain genetic purity. In the 1980s, he adds, scientists at a gene bank in New York helped identify genetic traits that made apples resistant to several destructive diseases, including deadly fire blight. The Transportation Security Administration is urging those 18 years and older to secure what's called a Real ID or Star Card driver's license. Airports will no longer accept a state-issued driver's license or identification that is not Real ID compliant starting May 7th. Without one, you may need another acceptable document like a passport or be delayed in your travel or even miss your flight altogether. Other forms of acceptable identification include Department of Homeland Security Trusted Traveler Cards, U.S. Department of Defense ID including IDs issued to dependents, Permanent Resident Card, Border Crossing Card, an acceptable photo ID issued by a federally recognized tribal nation, including Enhanced Tribal Cards, HSPD 12 PIV card, or a foreign government-issued passport. For more information, go to itd.idaho.gov/starcard. Idaho Falls Zoo reopened for its 2025 season last Thursday. Last week, the Idaho Falls Zoo reopened for both locals and visitors alike to experience the remarkable wildlife and educational experiences the zoo has to offer. The zoo will open daily from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. with the last admission at 4:30 p.m. Visitors can explore an array of over 230 individual animals representing 90 species from across the globe. The zoo will host a variety of educational programs and special events announced throughout the season. For more information, go to Idaho Falls, idaho.gov/zoo, or follow the zoo on its social media for the latest updates. These have been your BYU-Idaho radio morning headlines for April 21st, 2025. Thanks for tuning in. More news, interviews, and great content are available on our podcast feed. Search for BYU-Idaho radio on your favorite podcast apps, or on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and more. You can also ask your smart speakers to play KBYI 94.3 FM. Have a great day. This is BYU-Idaho Radio, and I'm Jill Clary.